Hey everybody, welcome to our weekend check-in video for Psych-45 Research Methods for Saturday, February 11th. Just going to go over a few reminders, clarifications, as I always do, anything I think you need to know to stay on top of things in the course. So let's get started. First up here is that you got your exam back in class this week. I think everybody was there, so you noticed your scores there. And I did mention that I might be dropping some of those items from the exam. There were 4 possible candidate questions that I might have dropped there, and it turns out I did end up dropping 2 of those. So some of you may have noticed that your score increased by 1 or 2 points, and if it didn't, that's because you already had those questions that I dropped right, so you don't get to double dip and get extra points there. So, but some of you got some extra points, so do take a look at that on the Canvas course page in the grade book there. Next up here is that we're working currently on our Chapter 5, which is all about samples and populations. We're almost done with that. We're going to do a few end-of-chapter exercises. I believe exercises number 2 and 10 there in your book, so I mentioned that at the end of the lecture last time. So do have that ready because you're going to work together in groups on those. And the discussion for Chapter 5 is going to be due actually next Saturday on the 18th. The reason that it's not due on the usual Friday, which would be the 17th, is that Friday is an official recognition of President's Day holiday, so the college is technically closed, so I try not to have assignments due on official holidays like that, so I bumped it ahead one day there to Saturday, the usual time there at 9 p.m., but you're, of course, welcome to work ahead and get it done whenever you like. I'm just doing that as a courtesy because of the holiday there. We will have our quiz for Chapter 5 in class on Tuesday, and again, you'll take that in your small group, so make sure that you have your homework prepared so you can do well on that quiz, and do use the homework there because that'll really help you just breeze right through the quizzes there, and hopefully that'll work out for you. Next up here, the big item. By the way, too, next week we are going to start covering Chapter 6. It's a pretty long chapter. It's the last of our table setting chapters, if you will. Once we get past Chapter 6, we're going to be examining particular research strategies and research designs. Almost every chapter left over after 6 is entitled something like that, and you'll notice that if you look at the chapter titles, but Chapter 6 is all about research strategies and validity. So on Tuesday, we're going to start examining what are the 5 really important research strategies that we're going to examine. We're also going to be taking a look at the issue of validity. We've taken a little bit of a look at validity so far back in Chapter 3. You might recall we talked about validity of measurement, things like predictive validity, convergent validity, concurrent, etc. there. But there's actually another kind of validity, and that's the validity of your larger study. Not just how you measure things, but the study itself. And there's what's called both internal and external validity, which is really important stuff you're going to see throughout the rest of the course. So when I say this is all table setting stuff through these first 6 chapters, I'm not kidding, because you're going to see this stuff pop up again and again throughout the rest of the course. So it's really important that you appreciate this content here, especially in Chapter 6. Last thing here is, as I mentioned in class, your APA Style Literature Review Paper Part 1 is due next Tuesday there on the 14th by 11:59 p.m. So you'll find there's a dedicated APA Literature Review module underneath Unit 5 of our course material there on Canvas. So scroll down past Unit 5. You'll see the APA module. You want to open up the instructions for Component 1. You'll also see there's a dedicated area there below that for the submission area for Component 1, because you are going to upload a Word file for your assignment there. No Google Docs, no PDFs, etc. there. You're not going to email any of that to me. I posted announcement reminders about this, so make sure you upload it there as a Word file. And when you open up the instructions for Component 1 in that APA module, there's a little short how-to video at the top you'll want to watch, because I literally show and tell you things in the instructions to help make things easier for you. I'm going to tell you a lot of things that'll just make it easier to understand what you need to do, so please do watch that. Again, it's about 10 minutes. Remember that the paper must be on a topic from social psychology. So things on drug abuse, schizophrenia, autism, memory in human infants, etc., that's not social psychology information, so it's not eligible. I do have an embedded list of social psychology topics. It's a file there you'll find right underneath that video. And I also have a link to a free online social psychology ebook, which will also walk you through various topics to give you an idea of something you might want to write about in the area of social psychology. And for clarity here, what you are going to turn in is your topic, your thesis statement, which is just simply a sentence or two describing how you're going to approach your topic. I do have sample thesis statements in the instructions, and there's also a completed sample submission as well, because the last thing you're going to turn into is your list of your 10 APA style references. And as I mentioned in lecture on Thursday, they must be actual research articles, so psychology books, psychology related websites, etc. That's not psychological research, so it's not eligible. They must be actual studies as published in the scientific journals, as we call them. So make sure that you understand that. There must be 10 of them, and they must be in proper APA style. So make sure that you follow that there. You do have your pocket guide to APA style to help you out with that. Remember, that's on the MindTap platform. Go on MindTap, look underneath chapter 15. You'll see a link there to the MindTap, to the pocket guide, pardon me. Click that link there, and then all the chapters will open up, because in the instructions, in the APA module on our course page, I do reference particular chapters, even certain pages, so that'll make your life easier in terms of getting your references in proper APA style and format. So do take advantage of that. Also there you will find there's a rubric at the bottom of the instructions there on the APA module, which will help you avoid making major mistakes, because part of what the rubric does, and by the way, the rubric is just a fancy name for a grading scheme, so how you're going to earn points and how points might be deducted there. So look at that, because that's kind of a list of errors, things you don't want to have in your paper to avoid losing points. So be careful to examine that. Again, it'll make your life a lot easier there. So when you look at those 10 references, just get them in proper APA style and format. You've got samples that I provided. I have a link to the library website. There's the pocket guide to APA style. There's also that link to that online writing lab, the OWL as it's called, the OWL. That also has great things about APA style. So there's plenty of resources for you to get that in proper format. And again, look at that sample submission I have there, so you can at least see what this stuff is supposed to look like, so you can determine, am I basically on the right path to formatting things properly, because it's all provided for you to make your life easier, believe me. Okay, that's everything I wanted to say for this time. If you need anything in the meantime, reach out via email on Canvas. Otherwise, I will see you in class on Tuesday. So take care until then. All right, bye-bye.